Luba. I'm very happy that you are today with us and that we will be talking about such an important topic as is science.
Yes, I would like also to say hello, and that it's a big honor and wonderful opportunity for me to share my ideas about science. And I just would like to talk about it, and hopefully we will finish not at midnight because I really love this topic. And thank you very much, Petra, for this invitation.
Uh,
Um,
your first, your first love are dogs, right?
of
When did
course.
it start? When can
I
you
would say,
remember? Where can you remember it started?
it was during all my life. I love not only dogs, but animals and nature from my early childhood. And in my family, we always had dogs. And as a child, I just was growing with dogs, and it really was natural. Of course, my parents and me, we didn't have so much information as now as a dog trainer I have. And it was a natural social contact, and we behaved just like we felt, I would say. And I loved it. We lived in a little town. I live here now also, and we had our own house with a yard, and so enough space for everybody and rather calm environment. And as an adult, I lived for Moscow, and I lived in the apartment. And one day, we with my husband rescued a little puppy, and it was the start of my professional dog trainer career because environment changed, and everything changed, I would say. And the requirements to the things, not only people but also dogs should uh, cope with, are very different in this environment, in little town, or there in Moscow city. And I didn't know about it. And my puppy was very sensitive, and she had lack of socialization because she lived about 2 months in a very little room without many stimuli and without many social experience. And I also didn't know that it can be important. So my dog couldn't just adapt to this, adjust to these new conditions very easy, and I didn't know how to help her. And as and maybe at 1 year when she started to behave aggressively towards people and towards dogs also. I just was shocked because I couldn't even imagine that my dog can behave and just to feel like this. And when I started to find help and to find specialists, dog trainers, uh, it was also some surprise because only some cruel methods just to punish this unwanted behavior were just in Moscow. There, it was in 2011, I think. So I even tried with one person, and of course I feel shame still this moment about it. And I remember that I cried after this experience because I just watched my dog, her eyes, and I was shocked. Why? How can it be? How can it work when we punish some behavior? And it was also the moment when I understood that it's absolutely no for me and for my dog. Uh, uh, but I really needed help, because if that moment I lived in very little town, I think it wouldn't be so much problem. But there, when you live in the apartment and you should go to for a walk with your dog several times a day, and a lot of people dogs, you just can't make them disappear, unfortunately sometimes. And also, I couldn't invite people to my apartment, because my dog also tried to even sometimes to bite them. So I felt that I need help. And I was absolutely sure that should be methods that really could change the picture of life of my dog, just to help her to behave naturally with new view, but not because I want her to do something else, but to behave um, friendly, because she feels that she is safe. And it took about half a year, maybe even more, to find these methods and to find people who know about it. And finally, I was a student uh, at Annelies course, international course of dog trainers. It was in Austria. And it was a wonderful period of my life when I started to get the information. I had absolutely um, agreement with my values, with my attitude, and with my um, with
Feeling,
my yes,
feeling towards dogs. Yeah.
yeah. um, and so it was like this. And also I and at that period I was mm, um, volunteer at the shelter. I was a person who helped, who worked with dogs in the shelter, and several years there in Moscow. And uh, still now it's a very important part of my professional life, not only to help my dog to live a happy life, but also to teach people, students, and also to help people who help shelter and rescue dogs. And so I think that this complex things can really make our environment much better.
You have described now your way into the dog training world actually is an experience that I hear a lot of times with just dog owners.
Yeah.
They get a dog, they get a puppy, which is under control, and they, especially in Slovenia, I will say, I cannot speak so much for other countries, but I can for Slovenia. Then they go to a dog school just to get a little bit of help with how to, how to guide the puppy or adolescent, because when they are teenagers, they even become worse.
Yeah.
So to help them guide this navigate this difficult period, and a lot of times then they get into trouble because they get a dog trainer who uses aversives, and not just aversives but sometimes really cruel methods. And although we know that punishment works, it's not a question, it works. It stops the behavior, period.
Unfortunately.
That's
Yeah.
true, but we also now have a lot of not just experiences, but also scientific proof that there is also other side of it, that works and that it's even more not just important but more efficient. So I guess that my question now for you would be, when did this scientific approach, because I know that you love science,
Yeah.
trickle in your dog dog training world? When did you start to really get into the science?
Oh, thank you for this question. You know, it was rather a long way, I would say. And it started at Anneliel's course when I uh, started to learn dog behavior. And Anneliel, of course, told us not only about things we can see, we can watch, but also about what is going on in the body of the dog, in the dog's brain, and so on. And it was so interesting for me, and some answers I got there, but I also found it that I have more questions, and I would like. I just wanted to find the answers, of course, and I. It was very interesting for me to go deeper. So it works like that because it works like that because, and so on. And during this education, I started with one book. It was about humoral mechanisms of nervous system regulation, and I started to find answers there, and I just was so fascinated by it. And the more I learned, the more I wanted to go deeper again. And also, this book had not only some explanations how it works in the body, but also some references to research. But very little data, so it works like this, and so we know it because we have this research. It was not enough for me, and I tried to find these primary um, so primary sources. And when I found this platform where we can search, find, and read scientific research, I was like in Disneyland, because it's appeared that uh, there are so much more research uh, that I could imagine. And at the same time, and I started to learn. And at the same time, I also found some articles by dog trainers with some statements. I was not agree because I was educated person at that moment. But in these articles, they wrote that they think like that because of this scientific research. And it was very difficult for me to estimate it, and to find the answer and why they really feel and think about it, because they are sure that it's a scientific, that has scientific base. And of course, I tried to find also this research and to learn them. And when I teach my students or discuss these topics about scientific research, I always recommend not to just believe in in several sentences which describes this research, especially if you have some doubts. I recommend to find this article, the full text, and to read it from the start and to the end, because sometimes this is the only way we can really be sure, at least, that the authors of this research mentioned these things, because we really have a lot of examples when some research used to prove something which was not mentioned there. So we should be very attentive to this point. And so um, some one day I understood, just I had two these parts: my interest in physiology, and this interest to researchers, and this point that not every research can be useful and helpful, and even can be harmful, and because of different reasons, because we can have really not very correct research. We also can have research which not actual, because something which really was believed in, I don't know, 50 years ago, and it was approved by some research. But 10, 20, 30 years later, other scientists make it in other way, in other environment, and several more research on this topic, not only one, but several or maybe dozens of them, and they get opposite results. And a big problem, sorry, I just go to
Yeah,
another
yeah.
topic.
You just go.
um, yeah. Because it's really my pain, one as a dog trainer and as a person who really loves science. So and uh, we have actual information, but there is some big distance sometimes between scientists and people who is supposed to use this information in their daily life or in their professional life. And I'm very happy that now, I would say maybe 3 5 years, um, we have a tendency to become closer to each other. And scientists realize and really try to make some steps to the auditory, and to give some really useful information. Not only we just have this research and we got this data, but also and what we can do with this information, how we can use it. And now these steps from people who work with science, they really do it. And at the same time, people who really want to be very good professional, and who has passion to professional development, they also start to be interested in science. And we have a lot of platforms where we can find and filter and just learn what we are interested in. And so these two parts of this whole world, not in canine science, but other also, we just come to each other, and now we can discuss it more, we can find this data more. And I think that we are lucky people, because even 20 years ago we couldn't find it, because we didn't have such opportunities to be close to scientific research.